All right, boys. We're back with another video. It's been a while, but it hasn't been that long. Gotta stay accountable. But stuff be like that, you know? Just IRL stuff. Already having trouble in the beginning to keep this consistent, but I still really have hope that I'll be able to get to a point where I can make this game. I mean, I already learned some good stuff, but it's really a matter of me trying to control and prioritize what I gotta do. So, and also balancing IRL. So this is just a struggle, bro. It's just a struggle right now. And soon I'll have to be back to work. So I'm actually starting all this while I'm on vacation in a way. So it's gonna be more troubles in the future, but for now, it's been okay. I got a 30-minute timer. Let's get back to it. I think we're trying to make a calculator, and I started a video on that portion, so I'm gonna start it right now.
I want you to write a basic calculator program. So here we have to enter two numbers. We can type a whole number or a number with a decimal point, and then our program will print the sum of these two numbers. So pause the video, spend 2 minutes on this exercise, and then see my solution.
I don't know what he means by that. I think he's trying to make me do the calculator and like figure it out. I think I talked about this last time. But I ain't trying to freaking use my brain that hard yet. We're only like on day 4, bro. Our brain is not adapted to this, and I don't feel like taking on that challenge.
All right, first we're going to call our input function to read the first number. We get the result and store it in a variable called first. Now, let's declare another variable called second and read the second number. Now, we calculate the sum, so that is first plus second. Now let's see what happens when we print sum on the terminal. So I enter 10 and 20, but instead of 30, we get 1020. This is because we're combining or concatenating two strings. So, as I told you before, the input function returns a string. So this line will be equivalent to first equals 10. You're dealing with a string, not an integer. Similarly, second is going to be 20 as a string. So when we combine two strings, 10 plus 20, we'll get 1020 because we're dealing with textual data. Okay. So to solve this problem, we need to convert the values we read to their numeric representation. So over here, we're going to pass first to our int function and here as well. Now let's run our program. So we enter 10 and 20, we get 30. What if we enter a floating point number? So 10.1 and 20. You got an error. So to solve this problem, we need to treat both these values as floats. So instead of the int function, we're going to use the float function. Now, let's run our program one more time. We enter a whole number and a floating point number. So the result is correct.
Right, was the I think in my notes I put float was like a point one, right? Isn't that what it was? Like anything that was like a decimal or some shit. Let's look. Right here. Yep.
Now, let's add a label over here. So sum is plus sum. Let's run our program one more time. 10 and 20. Once again, we got an error. The error is saying that Python can only concatenate strings, not floats to strings. So on line 4, we have a string. We're concatenating this with a float because the result of this expression is a floating point number. We're adding two floats, so the result is a float as well. So Python doesn't know how to evaluate code like this. It doesn't know how to concatenate a float to a string. To solve this problem, we need to convert sum to a string. So this is where we use the stir function. Now, let's run the program again. So 10 plus 20.1, and here's the result. And one last thing. In this example, I'm calling the float function. At the time, we want to calculate the sum of these two numbers, but this is not a requirement. We can call the float function over here. So this input function returns a string. We can pass that string to our float function. Take a look. So float, parentheses, like this. So the value that we're passing to the float function is the value that is returned from the input function. Similarly, we call the float function over here. Now, we can change this expression to first plus second. That is another way to write this piece of code. So type conversion is important in Python and other programming languages. There are times you need to convert the type of a variable to a different type. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you the stir function.
Mm.
20. But instead of 30, we get 1020. This is because we're combining.
So
to solve this problem,
I forgot what the fucking input was. Let's Google this shit, because that's what we do, right? If we don't know something, Google it. Yeah, just put whatever you want, and then input is just the input, right? And then assuming, just you put input for this for like when you actually input something, like I guess in text, right? Wasn't that what that was? Like when you give an answer and like just put it in this little box when you run the program, you just put your answer and that's your input. And then they put the float here, I think was it? Yeah, float. So, and I think they put it here too because we're trying to convert it to a float number. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Is the value that is returned from the input function. Similarly, we call the float function over here. Now, we can change this expression to first plus second. That is another way to write this piece of code. So type conversion is important in Python and other programming languages. There are times you need to convert the type of a variable to a different type. Time on line how to program again. Time we want to calculate the sum of these two numbers. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a bunch of cool things you can do with strings in Python. So let's start by declaring a variable called course and set it to Python for beginners. Now this string that we have over here is technically an object. And an object in Python is like an object in the real world. As a metaphor, think of the remote control of your TV. This remote control is an object and it has a bunch of capabilities. It has a bunch of buttons for turning your TV on, turning it off, changing the volume, and so on. Now, in this program, this course variable is storing a string object. This string object has a bunch of capabilities. So if you type course dot, you can see all the capabilities available in a string object. These are basically functions that you can call, just like the print or input functions. The difference is that the print and input functions are general purpose functions. They don't belong to a particular object, but the functions you see over here are specific to strings. Now, more accurately, we refer to these as methods. So when a function is part of an object, we refer to that function as a method. So let's look at a few examples. Here we have a function or a method called upper, and we use that to convert a string to uppercase. So if we print course.upper and run this program, you can see our course in uppercase. Pretty useful. Now, what
Okay, that's something I guess I'll do. For now, we're gonna close this. That fucking file is useless. We're actually gonna delete that. Passive file. Let's call it uppercase string using cores. Which is, yeah, that's what that was. We do it follow to the letter because that's how we're doing it. That's how we do it. For beginners. The thing I don't understand is that I realize I guess you don't really need this.
what you need to understand here is that this upper method does not change our original string. It will return a new string. So right after this, if we print course, you can see that our course variable is not affected.
Hmm.
So the upper method returns a new string. Now, similarly, we have another method called lower for converting a string to lowercase.
We'll just add print and just do course, I think, and then that just shows the regular thing already, just without the upper. That's what he said. Yeah, and we're gonna run that. Run that. And it shows it like that. Nice. Nice little lesson. Nice little tips and tricks. We got the upper and the lowercase too. Awesome.
We have a method called find to see if our string contains a character or a sequence of characters. For example, here we can pass y, and this will return the index of the first occurrence of y in our string. So, in Python, the index of the first character in a string is 0. So here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So when we run this program, you're going to see 1 on the terminal because the index of y is 1. Take a look. First, I'm going to delete this line. We don't need it anymore. Also, let's delete this line. Let's run the program. There you go. Now, as I told you before, Python is sensitive to lowercase and uppercase letters. So if I pass an uppercase y here, this find method returns -1 because we don't have an uppercase y in this string. We can also pass a sequence of characters, for example, 4. So this will return the index of the word 4. Take a look. So it's 7. Now, there are times we want to replace something in a string with something else. To do that, we use the replace method. Replace. So we can replace 4 with a string containing the number 4. Take a look. So Python for beginners. Obviously, if we look for a character or a sequence of characters that don't exist in our string, nothing is going to happen. For example, if we try to replace x with 4, obviously we don't have x here, so nothing is going to happen. Also, just like the upper method, the replace method is not going to modify our original string, so it's going to return a new string. This is because strings in Python and many other programming languages are immutable. We cannot change them once we create them. Whenever we want to change a string, we'll end up with a new string object in memory. Now, one last thing I want to cover in this tutorial. There are times you want to see if your string contains a character or a sequence of characters. One way to do that is using the find method that we talked about. So let's see if our string contains Python. Now, when we run this program, that is the index of the first occurrence of the word Python in our string. Now, in Python, we can also use the in operator. So we can write an expression like this. We type a string, Python, then we type in. This is a special keyword in Python. This is what we call the in operator. So after that, we type the name of our variable. So with this expression, we're checking to see if we have Python in course. As you can see, Python code is very readable. It's like plain English. So when we run this program, instead of seeing the index of the first occurrence of Python, we see a Boolean value. This is more desirable in a lot of cases. Next, we're going to look at arithmetic operations. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you the arithmetic operators that we have in Python. These are the same arithmetic operators that we have in math. For example, we can add numbers, we can subtract them, multiply them, and so on. So let's print 10 plus 3. When we run this program, we get 13. So this is the addition operator. We also have subtraction, we have multiplication, and division. Now technically we have two different types of division operators. We have a division with 1 slash and another with 2 slashes. Let's look at the differences. If we use a single slash, we get a floating point number that is a number with a decimal point. But if we use double slashes, we get an integer, a whole number. We also have the modulus operator that is indicated by a percent sign, and this returns the remainder of the division of 10 by 3. So that is 1. And finally, we have the exponent operator that is indicated by 2 asterisks. So this is 10 to the power of 3. So when we run this, we get 1,000. Now, for all these operators that you saw, we have an augmented assignment operator. Let me explain what it means. So let's say we have a variable.
Now that I think about it, trying just to learn all this stuff at one time, like, just learning all these basic, like, fundamental things, I realized from, like, being in work and all that, that this is probably not the best method to actually retain any of this. I'm starting to think after I finish this Python for beginners, I just jump straight into trying to figure out a project and just documenting my thought process and try to solve problems and all that. I think that's what I'm gonna try doing. Just make like a really basic. Try to just do use what was it? I think it was called the string concatenation. Because I think that was important if I want to do like a text adventure game. Because all you're doing is putting inputs and all that. So learning just the basic stuff like that, and then just doing like a input response type deal will just help me make like the basic framework of the game, and I'll learn more because if I want to like customize something, because I see the problem as soon as I run into it, I can just Google it. Because that's how I did it. Like when you learn things like on my job, because I'm like an IT, you just Google shit if you run into a problem, and then you implement it and it fixes it. So you gotta have that same mindset. So I think, yeah, just watch this video and then I'm gonna jump into the project. Because just going through all these videos and trying to learn things that really doesn't click with me, it's just not the play. Just gotta actually jump into the project. Alright, that's me rambling.
Called x, and we set it to 10. Now we want to increment the value of x by 3. So we have to write code like this. X equals x plus 3. When Python executes this code, it's going to evaluate this expression or this piece of code. The result of this expression is 10 plus 3, which is 13. Then it will store 13 in the x. Now there is another way to achieve the same result using less code. We can type x plus equal 3. What we have on line 3 is exactly identical to what we have on line 2. So what we have here is called the augmented assignment operator. So we have this assignment operator, but we have augmented or enhanced it. Now here we can also use subtraction to decrease the value of x by 3. We can use multiplication and so on. So these are the arithmetic operators in Python. All right, let me ask you a question. I'm going to declare a variable called x and set it to 10 plus 3 times 2. What do you think is the result of this expression? This is a basic math question.
Well, from basic algebra, we do 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 10, which is 16. That's what my assumption is.
That unfortunately a lot of people fail to answer. The answer is 16. Here's the reason. In math, we have this concept called operator precedence, and that determines the order in which these operators are applied. So multiplication and division have a higher order, so this part of the expression gets evaluated first. So 2 times 3 is 6, and then the result is added to 10. That is why the result of this expression is 16. Now, in Python, operator precedence is exactly like math, but we can always change it using parentheses. For example, in this expression, if we want 10 plus 3 to be evaluated first, we can wrap it in parentheses. So, like this.
It's probably I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm gonna go get a snack. Great. Alright, you all probably mad right now, cause I'm eating a leftover pizza. Shit fire, bro. Y'all mad that you can't, and I'm making a video of it too, so this is immortalized forever. That y'all mad that you can't eat this pizza I'm eating right now. Okay. Wait here. Nom, nom. Fuck me, my mic.
Now, when we execute this code, we're going to see 26 because 10 plus 3 is 13, and that divided by 2 is 26. Let's verify this. So print x, and we get 26. So you learned about the arithmetic operators in Python. Now, in Python, we have another set of operators called comparison operators. We use these operators to compare values. Let me show you. So I'm going to declare a variable called x and set it to an expression like this. 3 is greater than 2. So what we have here, this piece of code, this expression is called a Boolean expression because it produces a Boolean value. So in this case, because 3 is greater than 2, the result of this expression is the Boolean true. So if we print x, we get true on the terminal. So here's the greater than operator. We also have greater than or equal to. We have less than. We have less than or equal to. Here's the equality operator, which is indicated by 2 equal signs. Do not confuse this with the assignment operator. So here we're comparing 3 and 2 for equality. So if we run our program, we see false because 3 does not equal to 2. So here's the equality operator. We also have the not.
I mean, this is a pretty good lesson, but I forgot to say this. Since I'm in New Jersey, y'all probably mad that I'm eating some New Jersey pizza, cause that shit fire, bro. You all retarded.
Equality operator that is indicated by an exclamation mark followed by an equal sign. So let's quickly recap. Here are the comparison operators we have in Python. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, equal, and not equal. These operators are extremely important in real Python programs because quite often we have to compare values to evaluate certain conditions. You're going to see that soon. In Python, we have another set of operators called logical operators. We use these operators to build complex rules and conditions. Let me show you. So I'm going to declare a variable called price and set it to 25. Now let's print a Boolean expression like this. Price is greater than 10. Now let's say we want to check to see if the price is between 10 and 30. This is where we use the logical AND operator. So we type and right after that we type another Boolean expression. So price less than 30. So with this AND operator, if both these Boolean expressions return true, the result of this entire expression will be true. Take a look. So in this case, we get true because the price is between 10 and $30. We also have the OR operator. With the OR operator, if at least one of these Boolean expressions returns true, then the result of this entire expression will be true. To demonstrate this, I'm going to change price to 5. Let's see how Python is going to execute this code. So first, it's going to look at this Boolean expression. Is price greater than 10? No, it's not. So it will keep going. Then it will look at the second Boolean expression. Is price less than 30? It sure is. So the result of this entire expression will be true. Take a look. There you go. We also have...
I think I'm gonna copy this one. This is pretty good. True or false, I guess.
It sure is. So the result of this entire expression will be true. Take a look. There you go. We also have the NOT operator. This entire expression will be true. To demonstrate this, the logical AND operator. So we type AND, the logical operator expression. Is price greater than 10? No, it's not. So it will keep going. Then it will look at the second Boolean expression. Is price less than 30? It sure is. So the result of this entire expression will be true. Take a look. There you go. We also have the NOT operator, which basically inverses any values that you give it. Let me show you. So we're going to have one Boolean expression, price greater than 10. The result of this expression...
Well, I guess we're gonna end from there, and we'll do the if statements next, because the timer's already on 1 minute. We're down to 1 minute. Okay. Well, that went by. We didn't really do too many programs. We did like, we only did two programs. So not bad, but at the same time, I was just looking at the video, and a lot of it I don't think is really that useful for what I'm gonna do for now. Cause I'm just trying to make a game and put like a really basic yes or no, true or false game, and then I gotta figure out how to make a good GUI with it. So just having, I think just doing all the base code stuff with it is pretty easy, and then I just gotta figure out how to be artsy with it. So that's where the struggle would be, how to implement get a GUI into what I just inputted with all the code. So I gotta figure all of that. So I think we're gonna be okay. Um, yeah. Let's do a type eraser. That might be like a thing I do, just some random game, but I think for now I'm gonna do type eraser again. Let's see how good we get. I'm gonna erase. Look at the night and it don't seem to. Oh my god, it knows me, bro. Why is everybody AFK? The fuck? No, this guy's gonna catch up if I keep. Dude, what is this, bro? It knows me. It knows me. Alright, 67 words per minute. We're kind of sloppy, but it's whatever. That was fun. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm pretty happy that I completed this because it makes me feel like I'm actually doing something. It makes me feel better now. So thanks. Next video. Later.